Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. My name's Nick and today I'm about to tell you what happened down the allotment, so let's get started. So today we went down the allotment. I did film a video but I didn't really speak. I'll tell you why. Today was our allotment inspection. Now, what does that mean? So, like, I don't know if you're from the UK, but in the UK, when you're renting a flat, you get your landlord coming around every 3 months and just check you haven't wrecked the place. And it's a little bit like that. So, for example, they come round and they see what you're growing, they see how well kept the place is, and they see that basically all the rules of the allotment has been basically followed. So we can only have so many, I don't know, sheds. You can have a 15 by 30 foot polytunnel, one greenhouse, etc. So it's important that, you know, no one's really ruining those or doing anything that's like illegal or whatever. So they came round today and did that. You don't see them come round, but I did speak to them. We had 3 inspectors today and it was really nice because, you know, you walk around, it's like a garden tour. So I'm like, oh, this is that and this is what I'm doing this year. What are you doing? And it was really great experience for me personally. Some people get letters that if you don't have enough growing, I think it's like 30% at this time of year, or for example, I don't know, you just violated the rules or something, you get sent a letter and the letter says like, oh, you have so many days to like not do what you're doing or to change this, etc. So it can be quite stressful for some people. So I was told that my plot, our little humble plot, had the most growing on the entire allotment. I think that's really special. So I really enjoyed hearing that. So that was a really special experience for me personally and I really enjoyed it. We also talked about all of the stuff that I've been growing over the last year. Apparently, I've actually grown the most this year as well. So what a fantastic thing to hear. So I've really enjoyed having that experience today with my allotment, you know, observation sort of thing. But normally I'm actually not at the allotment when it's time to go over to have the inspection, just because I find it a little bit awkward. But it was a really positive experience this time, and it just goes to show, doesn't it, the things that we're most worried about was actually quite enjoyable. So there's like no need to kind of not go. And I know that some people were super nervous about it. It was funny because normally down the allotment it's just me because it was raining and I was like, there's a lot of people down here, and I couldn't work out why. And then one of them went, oh, you know that the inspection starts at 3. I was like, oh, I would have come down earlier and avoided it. But it was a really positive experience. Now, if you don't have an allotment, then you obviously don't know this, so I'm going to go through the rules and regulations. So in order to keep an allotment, you need to keep it relatively weed free, okay? And when I say relatively weed free, I mean no one is weed free, don't stress out about it. But if you have weeds up to here, then they're probably going to raise an eyebrow. You also need to show that it's worked this time of year, as in you don't have your corn still standing. Right, and not all the allotments can say that. You've got your harvest, right, put away somewhere, not on the allotment. Well, it could be on the allotment. There's some really excited. I watch, oh, this is so sad, I can't believe I'm admitting this. So my partner loves World War II, absolutely loves it. Now, do you know what I like about World War II? The farming techniques and the allotment techniques of World War II I find fascinating. So there are allotment ideas where you can actually make a rudimentary root cellar on the allotment by making a little hillock, covering it in hay sort of thing, and then piling the mud back on top and having your root vegetables underneath. I'm not saying anything about that. Now, if you are, for example, some of my friends, they do not work the ground at all. Never in the winter. They just don't believe in it. That's absolutely fine, okay? Everybody's culture and everybody's technique should be taken into consideration, obviously. However, what I'm saying is, if there's no actual reason, and for example, you've still got your corn up, or you've obviously not harvested your summer crop and it's just left there rotting. That's what I'm talking about, right? Remember, I'm not on the committee, okay? But it's a good way to just monitor people, because sometimes, for example, there is one person on our plot and they haven't been coping. Their husband's been very, very ill, and now everybody knows. Basically people go and help them, which is awesome, isn't it? But if you don't know, you can't help. You see what I mean? But I thought it was a really nice thing to do. Basically, now I've passed this, I don't think there'll be another one for at least 6 months. The next time that they'll come and observe the allotment, they're obviously looking to see everything started to be planted out. It's about April time, so things should be starting to plant out. You should have seedlings, all of that sort of jazz. So they do them once a season, so like a winter one, a spring, late spring one, summer one, etc. Okay, so it is important that you fill out this kind of responsibility. If you've just got a plot, remember, all allotment plots are completely different, right? Everyone decides their own rules. If you've just got one, the rules are slightly different, because obviously you can't go in day one and be like, boom, these are all my plants, there they are. No, if you go in day one, then they expect you to, for example, have within 6 months, you have 30% done, and within 6 weeks you've begun to work the soil, as in you've done something, you've tarped it, you've dug it, you've put some compost on top, you've put some cardboard down, something like that. Remember, everybody has their own way of working, and that's fine. That's why I wanted to explain why I hadn't shown that, but it was a big day for me down the allotment. And like I said, I wasn't like, well, I was a little bit worried. I didn't really have anything to worry about, but I was really proud of what we've done together. It's been amazing. So I like to make sure that, you know, our hard work is appreciated and seen. So it was a really great day. I really enjoyed it, and I did get some bulbs done, and I did get a few bits that I needed to do down the allotment done. I also planted out some broad beans, and I checked all my peas and checked all my little seedlings. I planted out some more cabbage. I need to sow more cabbage, okay? So please remind me. If I put up another sowing video, you say, no, where's the cabbage? Because I need to sow that cabbage, right? I'm very excited about that. I'm also, my peppers have just started to germinate. Ooh, I've just moved them under the lights now. So before they were on a heat mat. I don't know why I didn't put the heat mat under the light, but I didn't. So anyway, they've started to sprout now, and I'm very excited about that. I'm going to have to sow some more chili peppers and some more California Wonder. So that is something that is going to come up very soon. So today I thought I'd take the opportunity to plant out some of these daffodils. Now, daffodils are lovely flowers. They make me so happy. They're like the first sign of spring, in my humble opinion. And some of the daffodils I have been out for weeks, like before the snow. And it's absolutely crazy because, you know, there's nowhere near daffodil weather at the moment. I mean, it's January, and it's very exciting and very nice to see them. So I thought I've had these bulbs and I've been meaning to put them out since probably the fall. So I thought I'd go ahead and do that now. Where I'm planting them, it's quite a rocky ground, so it's very difficult to dig in. So I thought I'd go ahead and lay them on top and then cover them up with some wood chip. Now, I know that this is going to really upset some of you, but I think it's a good idea. Remember, the wood chip is going to break down in no time. This is a back to Eden method. So it's a very exciting method of gardening, and basically one just puts a very thick layer of wood chip on top of the bare ground. I know, I can just feel your eyes twitching, and basically it will break down over time because it's a whole tree, meaning it has leaves and it has bark and it has wood, etc. in there, and basically it's just a great medium to prevent weeds and to basically protect your plants from frost, etc. Now, this is the method that I've been using in my garden for years and years, and now that I moved down the allotment and they've actually got some horse manure, I've decided to use some of the horse manure as well. But this is the method that I probably use the most often, so I thought I'd give you a little kind of 411 of what I'm doing. And you know what, when they came round for the inspection today, they did say like, oh, this is the person that uses wood chip, and they're all like, oh, that's so weird. And I was like, yeah, everyone said last year it wasn't going to work very well, but guys, we got like 100 kilos of potatoes out of wood chips, so I didn't even water them, so we aren't doing badly at all. And from chatting with the allotment people today, apparently people had a really terrible yield of potatoes. I have to say mine was quite reduced than normal. I think it was because of the drought. If only I wasn't so lazy, I could have actually watered them, and then I'd done a lot better, wouldn't I? But hey ho, every year is different, and we're not going to beat ourselves up about it. So like I said, this area that I'm going to be planting these daffodils is very rocky. So this is a really great way of kind of freshening up basically the ground there. And I know the daffodils will help do that. And I know that the person before me has basically gone through the allotment, thank you so much, and pulled out all the rocks and thrown them in this sort of area. So it's going to be very well draining. You know what? I'm always trying my hardest to kind of look on the positive side of life and make sure that I'm not like thinking, oh yeah, it's really rocky, I can't do anything with it, blah, blah, blah. But I'm trying to like make the best out of every area that I have. And I do think that considering this area is basically somewhere that is not really going to be used very much, you can't, I don't enjoy walking that close to the fence, so I'm not going to use it as a path. So I'm going to go ahead and plant flowers. Why? Because flowers make me happy, and the happier you are somewhere, the more time you're going to spend there. So I'm going to fill the garden full of flowers if I so want to, as everybody should. As I'm getting older and older, I am finding that it is nicer and nicer to find spaces for flowers down the allotment, and I'm really enjoying them. That is why we're planting so many flowers this year. And I have to say, I was having a little conversation with Jazzy today, and she was saying how important it is to grow flowers. It was a very sweet moment. So I'm really enjoying this, and I know that when she comes down the allotment, she'll really enjoy seeing them, probably picking them and taking them home and telling everyone that she planted them, as is her right. So I'm quite excited about this, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now I do have some more bulbs, and I might go ahead and do this the other side as well, because it'll be so nice, lovely sort of ability to use this space. I think it's important to use every single space that you are given. And as you kind of like settle into your allotment, you do, first off, when you first get it, you're like, oh my goodness, there's so much space. And very, very soon you end up filling both allotments up, or one allotment, whatever you've got. So every little space is so important. That's why I'm growing my herbs here, because I know the ground is going to be very free draining, and that's what they like. And I'm going to be growing bulbs here too. Now bulbs don't like sitting in water. Of course they don't, they'll rot. So I'm thinking that they'll like it well enough, and hopefully I'll get some flowers this time next year. If not this year, I think I've done them a little bit too late for this year. But I'm excited. I have done a lot of bulbs this year. I find them very low maintenance, and I do like the fact that they're going to be there forever. Also, which I find very exciting, you plant them and then they divide into two and divide into two. So it's like every year you get one extra free one. So in a few years' time, I'll probably have to dig all of this up and separate them and then plant them. But that is great. I might even be able to cover the whole way round the allotment. I know last year we put in, I think it was like 250 bulbs in the other allotment of daffodils. And I really like the idea. I think they look fab. I really enjoy them. So hopefully this will work. The more the insects come in, the more the bees are happy, the more I have to enjoy it, the longer we're going to spend down the allotment. And that's the main thing. That's like the focus for me personally. That's why I'm super excited about this little bed. This little back to even bed. And it also pretties up where I've got my compost at the back there. Because at the end of the day, if it's pretty, I'll be down there and I'll be looking at it, and I know that I'll be grateful for this, as I'm going to be grateful when I see them lovely spring blooms soon. So I wondered if you guys, do you actually grow bulbs down the allotment? I know that lots of people grow beautiful flowers down the allotment, and my goodness, I've got some absolutely corking ones in seed that I did the other day and I shared with you. And I'm really excited about those bad boys being out and about in the allotment. I think I'm going to do a whole bed of flowers this year. Can you believe it? A whole bed of flowers. Now, that's very unlike me. If you know anything about me, then you'd know that a few years ago I would have thought that was blasphemous. I would have thought that allotments are only there for flowers. Well, that's just simply not the case. So as I kind of like carried on, I also decided that I was going to put straw over the allotment. Now, this straw is something that I save for the birds, but as they don't need it right now, I kind of like to refresh it, because I think if it stays in there it gets a bit wet and damp, and I'm a little bit worried about mold spores. So anyway, I've decided to throw this kind of spent straw over my plants. This is the root stouth method. I know that you're meant to use hay bales, but it's actually cheaper for us to buy this chopped straw at the moment. I don't know why, because in my head it looks like it's a lot more work. But hey ho, that's how we buy it. And this is what we use with the ducks at home as well. I find it really fab stuff, because basically you can make a big fluffy layer for the birds, and they absolutely love nesting in it. They love just digging through it, and it's really light and fluffy. It also gets rid of any moisture, which I know that you don't care about, but honestly it holds the moisture in if you're thinking about planting. Now, I have used this method on this bed for a little while now, and I absolutely love it. Now, I would love to get hay bales and kind of spread those around and do it like the traditional way, but this way works just as well. And it's just basically suppressing the weeds and mulching so that we're still getting quite heavy frosts every so often. So it's just to ensure that when the heavy frosts come, we're basically prepared for Z heavy frosts. And I will be kind of like nudging it about, and basically making sure that all of the bulbs are able to poke through. Now, this will break down into beautiful compost once again, and the worms will be promoted all the way up to the top. So you get all them worm casting, which is basically free fertiliser. That's why you rarely see me really fertilising, because we're working with nature. I always say, why do a job when an animal's going to love doing it? And I really strongly believe that. Bring the worms up to the surface and they will produce worm castings, and they will aerate your soil. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, you can actually see worm castings in the fossil record. That's how well they do it, guys. Okay? And they will be doing it here. They're going to be going all the way through my soil to get up to eat this straw and bring it down, etc. It does disappear quite quickly, so I do have to top it up every so often. But like I say, as soon as this stuff gets a little bit damp, I'm going to go ahead and throw it back on. Any of the chicken manure filled straw that I've kind of like let rot well down, I'm going to go ahead and plop on here as well. The thing is, it's because the duck bedding as well, I will be clearing that out, and then I'll go ahead and bring that down the allotment as well. You see, it's like a beautiful cycle. I try to use as much as possible. I don't like throwing anything away. So instead of throwing things away, I go ahead and pop it in the car and bring it down the allotment. And I say, I know I'm going to think of something to do down the allotment with this. And I have to say, with the duck bedding, I think it's glorious stuff. You know I'm going to say it. Yeah, it's cold composting. So you can use that neat, especially on things like this, which grow under the ground and they take a very long time to grow. I don't mind popping duck bedding on top of that. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, the ducks do spend most of the time they run. I don't know why they don't particularly spend much time in the coop. They love being outside, which is the complete opposite of chickens, but okay then. So it's not too bad. It is lovely stuff though. And I have to say that I feel like I'm doing really fantastic progress. What do you think? Look, that is the sort of level that I'm at where my cabbages have gone all bolted, yeah? You see them? And now the fence has fallen on them. It's just typical. It's just typical. Just typical. Everything's defrosted a little bit. I need to come in and take this trellis down, my carrots. See if the carrots have done anything. They're like teeny little, tiny little ones, little like toothpicks. I think they're a little bit too close together. Oh, what's that bad boy? Oh no. I'm hallucinating the feeling of carrots. Ready? Do you want to see the world's biggest carrot? Ready? Oh yeah, look at that. I think I need to thin these bad boys. Great thing about thinning carrots is you get to eat them. Hello, Mr. Carrot. I like all the little veins. It's like the mustachios. Foxes keep digging. It's very frustrating. I can't believe that all of this has lasted throughout the winter. I never thought it would. It's amazing. Well done. Yay. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, we've got loads of things that are going to be growing. We've got loads of things to be seeding. So if you like my rambly voice, please go ahead and subscribe, because we could do a load of stuff here, but we are nothing without you. So please follow us along, and you'll see us next time for a load of fun down the allotment. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Blah.